they rise from the desert, monolithic, eternal. The Giza Pyramids. For millennia, we have gazed upon their monumental scale, marveling at the sheer physical effort. But what if the true wonder isn't merely the lifting of stone, but the unseen, meticulously orchestrated network that made it possible? What if the most astonishing feat wasn't physical strength, but an administrative genius, a bureaucratic blueprint stretching across an entire kingdom? A hidden structure, far more intricate than popular imagination suggests. A silent, grinding machine of command and control. How was it truly built? It begins, as all grand endeavors in ancient Egypt did, with a single, unyielding decree. A pharaoh's will. Not merely a wish, but an absolute command, reverberating through the highest echelons of a nascent state. But how does a singular vision, an almost divine utterance, translate into the mobilization of vast resources, into the coordinated labor of thousands? How does a declaration of immortality transform into logistical directives, into resource allocation plans? The initial spark. A seed of ambition, planted in the very fabric of governance. The scale, unimaginable. Before the first block was quarried, before a single worker lifted a tool, there was the plan. A master blueprint. Not just architectural drawings, but a detailed schema encompassing everything from material sourcing to labor deployment. Who were these architects of eternity? These chief engineers, these mathematical priests who could visualize such colossal structures, then break them down into manageable, actionable steps? They were the hidden intellects. The minds that mapped the future, years, even decades in advance. Their work, foundational. Their vision, precise. Consider the scribes. Not merely record keepers, but the very backbone of the Old Kingdom's administrative prowess. Thousands of them, perhaps. Diligently, tirelessly, they translated the grand vision into countless administrative documents. Papyrus scrolls detailing daily rations, work assignments, tool inventories, quarry output. Every single aspect. A vast, interconnected web of data, flowing between remote quarries, work camps, and the central royal administration. This wasn't just construction, it was a data-intensive operation. An ancient enterprise resource planning system. Analog, yes, but breathtakingly effective. The sheer volume of material. A logistical nightmare, or a meticulously choreographed dance? Millions of limestone blocks from Tura, hundreds of miles away. Granite from Aswan, even further south. Each stone, not merely extracted, but accounted for, tagged, tracked. Imagine the quarry masters, reporting daily yields, managing labor, coordinating transportation schedules down to the hour. This was raw material procurement on an unprecedented scale. A nationwide effort, driven by relentless demand. The desert, a vast storehouse. The Nile, its highway. The Nile. More than a river, it was the circulatory system of the Old Kingdom. During the annual inundation, its waters transformed into a superhighway, allowing heavy barges to transport millions of tons of stone. But this wasn't haphazard. This required precise scheduling, river management, and a fleet of vessels. Naval architects. Harbor masters. Navigators. A vast logistical enterprise coordinating seasonal deliveries with quarry output and construction demand. A delicate balance, timed with the very breath of Egypt. Every journey, meticulously planned. A workforce of potentially 20,000 to 30,000 people. Perhaps more, seasonally. How do you feed, house, and clothe such a transient population? It required an agricultural bureaucracy capable of surplus production, efficient storage, and daily distribution. Bakers working round the clock. Brewers producing hundreds of gallons of beer daily. Farmers dedicating harvests. This wasn't charity, it was a state-controlled supply chain, underpinning the entire construction effort. The energy of the pyramids. Fueled by daily bread and beer, managed with ruthless efficiency. The workforce wasn't a monolithic entity. It was highly stratified. Skilled artisans, craftsmen, masons, sculptors formed an elite core, likely permanent. Then, the seasonal laborers, often farmers, conscripted during the inundation when fields lay fallow. And beneath them, perhaps, a core of permanent, less skilled workers. Each group, managed differently. Different pay, different rations, different living conditions. A complex labor management system designed for maximum output. The vast majority, free citizens contributing to a national project. But how free were they really? Imagine the accounting. Every tool issued, every ration distributed, every worker's attendance logged. Copper chisels. Wooden sledges. Ropes of fiber. All inventoried, maintained, replaced. Scribes meticulously recorded not just what came in, but what went out. And perhaps even the efficiency rates of different work gangs. A system of checks and balances to prevent waste and ensure accountability. In an economy without currency, such detailed record-keeping was vital. The ledger. The silent arbiter of progress. The true cost, measured in resources and man-hours. From the pharaoh at the apex, down through viziers, overseers of works, district governors, all the way to individual gang leaders. A precise chain of command. Orders flowed down, reports flowed up. Information, bottlenecks, delays. All part of the daily bureaucratic grind. But how was this immense hierarchy maintained? Through intimidation? Loyalty? Or simply an unparalleled system of administrative reporting and accountability that ensured compliance? The pyramid itself, a symbol of this top-down command structure. Each layer, supporting the next. Each individual, a cog. The tools were simple: copper, dolerite, wood. No iron. No wheels for heavy transport over land, only sledges. This placed immense reliance on synchronized manpower. Hundreds, perhaps thousands, pulling ropes together. A colossal human engine. But coordinating such massive teams required not just brute force, but advanced organizational tactics. Timings. Signals. Division of tasks. Was it a simple whip and chant, or a sophisticated system of task management that integrated these simple tools into a complex mechanical advantage? The human element, amplified by a clear process. A project spanning decades. Perhaps 20 years for the Great Pyramid alone. This wasn't a short-term sprint, it was a generational marathon. It meant bureaucratic systems had to withstand leadership changes, economic fluctuations, and inevitable setbacks. Knowledge had to be transferred from one cohort of engineers and administrators to the next. Institutional memory, preserved. Protocols, standardized. The longevity of the project itself demanded an incredibly robust, adaptable administrative framework. A state-level project management system, far ahead of its time. The blueprint, passed down through time. For such a massive workforce to remain productive, a level of welfare was essential. Evidence suggests workers had access to medical care, regular meals, and even burial plots. This wasn't just benevolence, it was a pragmatic approach to maintaining a healthy, motivated, and compliant labor force. The state provided, but in return, demanded unwavering dedication. A delicate balance between control and care. The cost of rebellion, too high. The value of a living, working body, understood. Was this a rudimentary form of social contract? How was this immense undertaking financed? In a pre-monetary economy, the answer lay in direct state control of resources. Taxes in the form of grain, cattle, and labor. Tributes from conquered lands. A highly centralized system diverting the nation's entire economic output towards the royal project. This wasn't just building, it was an exercise in national resource reallocation. Every granary, every field, every working hand, ultimately contributed. the state, as chief investor. The pharaoh, its ultimate beneficiary. The economy, subservient to the vision. Not every aspect of such a massive project could have been foreseen. Problems arose. Stones broke. Ramps collapsed. Floods interfered. The bureaucracy, therefore, needed to be adaptable. To innovate. To problem solve at every level. The ability to adjust plans, redirect resources, and learn from mistakes. This wasn't static management, it was dynamic. The Old Kingdom administration, a learning organization, constantly refining its processes. Evidence of ramp changes or redesigns during construction speaks volumes. A testament to their flexibility. The final segments. The capstone placed. The casing stones polished. But the bureaucratic process didn't end there. Official records of completion. Final audits. The demobilization of the workforce. The transition of the site from active construction to a sacred mortuary complex. This was the final administrative act. A grand closing ceremony, perhaps. The signing off on the greatest project in ancient history. The sealing of the tomb. A perfect bureaucratic closure, ensuring the pharaoh's eternal journey. Every step documented. Every detail finalized. So, the true marvel of the Giza pyramids may not just be the stone, but the invisible network of human organization beneath it. A colossal administrative undertaking, spanning generations, diverting an entire kingdom's resources, and coordinating tens of thousands of lives. The bureaucracy was not a hindrance, but the very engine of creation. A silent ledger, recording an impossible dream made real. A testament to human ingenuity, not just in engineering, but in the art of management itself. The ultimate project plan, executed to perfection. Its secrets still whisper from the sand.